I'm not exaggerating when I say the Backrooms movie was one of the most stressful movie theater experiences of the entire year, but was it a good film? Well, here are my full spoiler-free thoughts on the best and worst parts of the movie. If you're unaware, the Backrooms is a concept created and popularized by the director Kane Parsons, who made a short film when he was 16 based on the Backrooms, kind of like a found footage short film, and now he directed the Backrooms feature film, being only 20 years old, so him being younger than me does not make me feel great about my own life choices. And like I said at the beginning, this is an incredibly anxiety inducing and stressful experience. Like, I have a pretty high horror tolerance, honestly. It's not my favorite genre by any means. I'm not a big horror movie head or anything, but this one was getting under my skin for a lot of the runtime because you're really just following this store owner. He runs a furniture store named Clark. He's going through a low point in his life. His marriage and everything's falling apart. He feels very lonely, and he just stumbles upon the back rooms and starts exploring this area. And like, the first times you're walking through the back rooms are incredibly creepy. It really just captures that like claustrophobic and super eerie vibe incredibly well. Like, every time a character was going around a corner or something, like, I almost had to close my eyes at certain points just because I was like anticipating something really bad happening or jumping out at me. Like I said, oddly, not in like a scary way even. It's more just pure stress is what the experience of this movie is. We also have another main character named Maya. She's played by Renata Renziv. I think I said her name right. Both of these lead actors are absolutely incredible. So much of the movie and the emotions in this film rely on them, and they are absolutely great. The movie does definitely deal with some interesting themes of like loneliness and just being at your lowest point and kind of giving into that, and the backrooms being almost like a materialization of that. What I do really appreciate for the most part is that we don't really get any true answers about what the backrooms necessarily are. There are some lines that explain it a little bit, and there's some clues to things maybe going on outside and what's happening with them, but nothing is concrete or solid. I think they left it very open. I could definitely see us getting a lot of different films in like a backroom cinematic universe. I know the entire idea of the backrooms is to be very like ambiguous and just abstract in a lot of ways, but I do think as the film went on, once you get to like the last 30-40 minutes, you kind of warm up to the backrooms, which again is probably intentional. You're like, oh, getting more familiar with it, but there's just some odd turns with characters that I didn't think were like the most natural conclusion in them. I felt like we skipped over some scenes. Again, I'm sure this is all intentional stuff that they were doing in this film to give you this unsettling feeling. But I mean, just looking at it as a movie, it is a very like postmodern David Lynch inspired film. I'm not saying it's on his level in any way, but it's definitely going for that kind of thing where it's like, oh yeah, we're getting weirder and weirder. We're not going to explain anything. Boom, the movie's over, which can be very effective. Like, Mulholland Drive is one of my favorite films of all time. But like I said, this is Kane Parsons' first ever debut film. He's 20 years old. You can definitely see the vision. And there are, like I said, the first hour of this movie is really incredible, I think. It just feels like it stumbles a little bit at the end because lots of different like character arcs either just super abruptly end off screen or completely change off screen. And you really don't get any explanation, which again, I know this is intentional stuff with the concept of the movie, but that doesn't automatically make it incredible. I also do want to highlight that the actual sets of this movie, of the backrooms themselves, look incredible. You can tell so much love and care was put into it. And I think that's why it's great Kane Parsons, who like birthed this project, is actually the director of it. They didn't just get some other Hollywood dude. The camera work was really good. It adds that kind of claustrophobic feeling the entire time. And at the end of the day, it is an effective horror movie, even if I have some problems with it. Like I said, I was feeling the anxiety almost this entire runtime. You could hear in the theater, like after multiple scenes, people just letting out their breath. Like, they were literally holding their breath just trying to get through certain scenes in here. Really solid debut film. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If you want to see all my movie reviews for the biggest new 2026 releases like Mando and Grogu, Michael, and more, click the playlist above my head right now. And thank you so much for watching.